Welcome along to Man in the Mirror. As I said in the introduction, I'm here with Jacob Grainger, who is the co-founder and perfumer of Nosu. Hi, Jacob. How are you?
I'm good, Hayden. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. This is it's Monday morning when we're recording. This is a lovely thing to get to do and get to chat on a Monday morning. So thank you so much for making time. I think, am I right? Did we first meet at Amanda's Barnes Fragrance Fair
We did, yeah.
in the
Back
spring? That
in
was our first meeting, wasn't it?
this year, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, we kind
Yeah,
of crossed paths there. I'd been
we
following you
did.
for a while, but yeah, it's
Well,
been
yeah, thank you. And obviously, Nozu is a relatively new brand. Jacob, started beginning of this year. Is that right?
yeah. We started back in January, so quite fresh. Yeah, Lucy and I launched Nosu back in early January. So yeah, it's still
Gosh, so
been
it's a
a year.
young brand. And
Yeah,
you mentioned Lucy, who is the co-founder and also your wife,
yeah, indeed.
husband and
Yeah,
wife duo.
exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, a good place to start, I suppose, is if you could tell me a bit about the brand and what made you start Nozu.
Yeah, as I said, we launched back in January, so still quite fresh faced, hopefully. Um, Lucy herself had a background in kind of set design and
Right.
studied art and fashion design, things like that. But yeah, works primarily as a sort of set designer and sort of cosmetic photo shoot sorts of things. So she's got a
Yeah.
lot of experience in the visual side of things. I used to work in flavor development for a soft drinks, non-alcoholic drinks company. And yeah, I started learning perfumery back in 2020. Started teaching myself that during sort of one of the lockdowns,
It's
and
funny, isn't it, that these different journeys that people went down in lockdown, and quite an interesting route to go down, I suppose. So from that flavor, I mean, the parallels are obvious, but you had an interest in finding out more about
yeah,
olfaction, yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, sense and smell are very, very linked anyway. But yeah, I think we started back in 2019. We started sort of playing around with making candles, scented candles, and I became fairly sort of interested and slightly obsessed with.
Obsessed,
Yeah, exactly.
obsessed.
Obsessed. It became very quickly an obsession with when I realized all the sort of different um, chemicals and essential oils and absolutes and various ways of getting materials. I thought this is kind of something I want to explore more. So yeah.
Mm. And when you say, I'm always fascinated when people talk about, oh, I'm self-taught this or I'm self-taught that. In terms of perfumery, what did that mean for you? Obviously we all had a bit of time during lockdown, but what was your approach and how did you go about learning?
I first did a sort of quite a basic but interesting kind of perfumery online course where you'd get sent material to sort of evaluate
Mm.
and play around with, which was great. But and then I kind of very methodically just bought lots of different materials, evaluated them over sort of time periods, had a whole spreadsheet of how to make everything.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so I'd
Are
just
you
be
a
like,
spreadsheet guy?
yeah, I can be. I
Yeah.
don't like to be rigid with it, but in terms of when I
I
was,
suppose you have to be, don't you, in perfumery
yeah,
anyway? It is quite, you have to, for formulas,
yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. With the formulas, I was very regimented in terms of having precise scales and weighing things and
Mm.
things like that. But yeah, it was mostly just kind of initially just kind of learning the materials. Sort of, I'd smell them. I'd sort of get five materials and I'd smell them throughout the day, sort of within sort of 15-minute increments and sort of hour increments, and see
Mm.
how they developed. And then just kind of started experimenting with just blending them in different ratios, which is a very common kind of perfumery
Yeah.
technique.
Sort of
But
building blocks.
yeah, and just went from there. Just sort of gradually started, like I said, fairly obsessively buying the sort of weirder and more unusual ingredients that I was researching. You have a lot of time back in 2020 to just read about kind of
Gosh,
bizarre things you can
it
buy. And
does sound like or it does seem like a world away, doesn't it? I remember that,
yeah,
really luxuriating in long dog walks and, just,
exactly.
everything was quiet. But also, I mean, it was a similar time when I got into sort of writing and I got more into, I mean, we were similar because I got into fragrance at that time as well.
Yeah.
But, in terms of, learning about perfumery, was there always the end goal of, do you know what? I think we could do this as a a brand, or was it step by step in terms of this is an interesting hobby or diversion? You know.
Yeah, I mean, it started as kind of interesting hobby, which became a very expensive hobby. Um, and then we just decided to, Lucy and I were just talking about it back in sort of 2020. We were like, oh, in like a year, we'll sort of release these perfumes and get them
Mm,
through the point where we can release them. But yeah, we just kind of wanted to merge sort of our background into creating this kind of um, very artistic kind of textural perfumes, which have a sort of visual, tactile element to them, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there was always, not always, but after a small amount of time, we were very aware we wanted to make it a business, you know?
And I suppose the two of you having the skill sets that you do, there's that sort of happy accident that well, you're together, and however you got together. But it totally makes sense, doesn't it, of your different disciplines and interests and artistic endeavors to if you're getting interested in the perfumery, and Lucy has this set design and three-dimensional design art background, that there are a lot of the skills that you're going to need at least to kick things
Yeah,
off.
no, quite a good partnership, to be honest. You know, we both
Yeah,
have a
lucky that, hey.
yeah. So yeah, I basically just focus on the scent. Lucy just sort of focuses on the sort of visual side of it. I do more the sort of words and the sort of storytelling side of things. So yeah, it's quite a good. You know, we both have our lanes that we stick to,
Yeah.
and occasionally kind of give our 2 cents about or whatever.
And of course, and you've got, in that partnership, you've got that honesty that you can give because of the fact that you're married. You don't have to. I guess it works in terms of being able to give
Yeah,
feedback and work out what the other
yeah,
person is doing.
yeah, exactly. Positive or negative reinforcement sometimes. Yeah,
And I was struck at the Barnes Fragrance Fair, and anybody would who gets to see the Nosu bottles, that the bottle caps are very sculptural, textural,
mm,
as you said. They've got these beautiful sort of metal, almost like liquid metal,
yeah,
feel very tactile,
yeah,
very striking, quite unique.
yeah.
Was that always going to be a part of what you did, or did that come along
Yeah,
later?
yeah. We wanted to make it. We wanted to take the sort of time to actually make everything sort of fully developed. You know, it's easy to kind of try and force everything to release them before we thought they're ready, and we're kind of
Mm,
perfectionists in that way, for better or worse.
mm.
And
It
yeah,
takes
we
a
want.
while, doesn't it?
It does take a while. I
Yeah.
think the perfumes themselves took about 2 years, and the sort of design of the lids and the sort of ideas behind everything also took almost 2 years. So yeah, quite a
Really?
long process. Yeah, um, but yeah, the lids were obviously a big part of it. We wanted them to. Nosu in general is a word, comes from an old English word for nose, basically, and
Right.
the
Oh, so it is
lids.
English. It almost has this sort of Japanese sound or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
But
kind of Japanese or kind of Scandinavian. It's got,
yeah,
it's got some sort of potentially some old Scandinavian sort of reference, but yeah, it's yeah, Old English for nose. So the lid is itself kind of lots of different abstract noses depending on how you look at it, kind of thing.
mm. And is
But yeah,
each lid different then, Jacob?
now all the lids are all the lids are the same. I mean, they're kind of hand finished, so they have slight different sort of surface variations and things like that.
Mm.
But yeah, so but yeah, that's part of it. We were like the kind of
Mm.
we wanted to have them be this kind of you could see the different how they've been finished. You want
Yeah,
same with the perfumes. We want them to be kind of affected seasonally by different ingredients, things like that. We want to be, it's obvious that our lids have been finished very professionally, very well, but occasionally, depending on how they've been metallized, they might have slight haziness in different
yeah,
areas.
different
So it's kind of
variations. Yeah,
yeah, which we like. It's
yeah.
kind of
So currently there's a trio in the first collection: the Say No More, Been Trying to Meet You, and Hides.
yeah,
And I think what's interesting is that you're very transparent about the amount of naturals that are in each one. There's some really interesting ingredients.
yeah.
Is do you think the fact that you're a self-taught perfumer, excuse me, has given you a bit more sort of free reign and less restriction on what's
Yeah,
ended up in the juice?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I mean, it's. I think if you kind of get perfumery school kind of professional access to all the materials and
Mm,
things like that, and sort of rigid sort of structure, you might only learn how to make certain things in certain ways initially. Obviously, they can be more creative further down the line, but
yeah.
having to be a bit more kind of it's quite a secretive thing learning perfumery. People don't really give out the
Yeah.
information, so you have to kind of if you're teaching yourself, it can be quite a kind of laborious kind of process to get
Mm,
the end result that you're after, and especially with the restrictions of only having kind of fewer materials than you would if you're in a perfumery school, you
mm,
probably have to work more on that in terms of
yeah.
being a bit more kind of precise with what you're using and how to use it. Don't
And
get me
where
wrong,
did you?
I spent a lot of time further down the line getting into really weird materials and things like that.
Yeah.
But initially, it was very kind of slightly limited in terms of how to blend things together.
And where did you get your oils and your fragrances from? Are they from a certain fragrance house, or have you
No,
gone to
they're from
different
kind
people?
of more sort of. They were initially from sort of more kind of smaller
Yeah.
people that sell to sort of niche houses and things like that. So you
Right.
can't buy them being independent. We can't actually get the access to buy things at kilo amounts from big perfume
Yeah.
houses.
Yeah.
Often
Yeah.
via sort of people. There's a few different people I buy from who sell really good quality stuff, but in
Yeah.
smaller amounts, so you can actually get
Afford
access.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
afford it and have access
Yeah.
to them because
Well,
it's
that's the
quite.
thing as well, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about a niche and a proudly independent brand. I mean, there's no getting away from the fact that a lot of this stuff is around cash flow and things like ingredients and bottles and caps and everything else need to be bought up front, and so it's all cost that you're outlaying before getting
Yeah,
paid by the consumer, isn't it?
exactly. Yeah, so it's kind of it's a risky thing to get into, but I think it's worth it. But yeah, it took a lot of you know self finance and things like that, and
Yeah,
it's difficult. The kind of economies of scale, obviously, of being a big perfume house or something with lots of money behind you means you can kind
yeah,
of um, buy things in quantities and make them a bit easier. And we
mm,
make it ourselves. We don't get things sort of outsourced in terms of making the juice and maturing it and macerating and things like that, and bottling it and packaging it. We do everything ourselves, so it's kind
do
of
you?
very personal. Very
Yeah,
personal. Yeah,
yeah. So if you get a bottle of Nosu perfume, it's
yeah.
it's come directly from Lucy and
From us,
Jacob. So
from us. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
which is, I think there's something very special about that, and I guess it's always harder to hold on to those personal touches as brands get bigger. But it does feel. I mean, I've read and seen online so much positive, so much feedback about the brand, and I you kindly sent me a while ago the discovery set, and I thought it was such a strong opening collection. I loved all three, and it's quite unusual to do that, but I particularly liked Say No More, I think, which is perfect. We're now in early
yeah,
November. It's a beautiful sort of autumnal, incensey, smoky kind of fragrance, isn't it? So
yeah.
it's I think, yeah, there's been so much positivity about the brand. And so how have you found your first year? Do you feel like the sector's in a good space? Do you feel like you've been welcomed in? What's your reflection on
Yeah, yeah.
2025?
It's been good. I mean, it's slow and steady at the moment, but it's
Yeah,
a lot of positive feedback and a lot of kind words have been said. So that's really just amazing. Always happy to
yeah,
hear so many different people say such nice things. It's really lovely.
yeah.
And yeah, and the whole community, kind of fragrance community, is such a welcoming space. There's no
Do
kind
you
of
think?
yeah. I mean, the people I've met, some people
Yeah,
not, but the people that you've
yeah,
met.
yeah. No, I agree. It's sort of interesting to hear people's opinions. I guess we sort of entered the industry at a similar kind of time, really. But and I think I wonder if what your reflections are coming from a different but related industry in working in flavors. Were there things that surprised you about the fragrance industry and getting more involved, or does it feel quite familiar in a way?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar in a way. I was part of like an independent kind of soft drinks company, so it was
Right.
very kind of you know um, everyone was involved in everything, kind of getting things together.
Yeah.
So it's similar in
Were
that.
you part of the ownership of that, Jacob, or did you
No.
work?
I was just there from sort of. I joined very early on, basically.
Yeah.
So I was there were two owners, and I was there very early on, and just
Yeah.
sort of learned with the business, and then developed into being in charge of all the flavors and things like that. So
And
yeah.
have you stepped away from that completely, or do you still do?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't. I stopped. I think I left there back in 2021 or something like
Oh,
that.
did you? Hmm.
Yeah, and started doing other things. As you know,
Hmm.
still I work in a similar industry to Lucy now in terms of photo shoots and things like that now, which
Oh,
is
do you?
yeah. So we're both still kind of freelance, do things in terms of photo shoots and things like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, just sort of, but all these things, it's sort of, it's probably good for inspiration and
yeah,
creativity, but also on a practical level, we've all got to do stuff just to keep it going, haven't we?
exactly.
It's,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally hear that.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're going to talk more about the brand in a second, but as always on the podcast, I like to have a sort of sneaky nose around someone's bathroom cabinet and
Yeah.
just find out about grooming and self care and how that works for you. So I wonder,
Yeah.
are there certain products, Jacob, that you like in your morning and evening routine that you've become loyal to? How does that routine work for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of fairly sparse in terms of showers and things like that. I use a kind of just simple kind of tea tree bar
Mm,
soap, things like that, and sort of fairly basic shampoo. But in terms of, I'm in my late 30s now, so I have to use more moisturizers and creams like that. I use kind
tell
of
me about it. I hear
yeah,
you. I've got
yeah,
a good 10 years on you, and I should be using far more creams. I think.
yeah. But no, I use sort of eye creams and SPF moisturizers.
Do you?
Daytime, yeah, just I mean, it's obviously not as sunny as some places in the UK, but it's good to sort
No,
of
it's important, isn't it? And
yeah.
have you found yourself gravitating to a particular product, or do you just pick up whatever's there, or do you share stuff with Lucy, or how does
I
it work?
share stuff. I mean, Lucy gets a lot of freebies and things like that in terms of samples that she gets from the thing. So I use quite a
Mm.
few. I mean, probably the moisturizer we've bought recently would be Tacobo. Do you know them?
I
They're kind
don't
of
actually know.
yeah, they're really lovely moisturizer that we bought recently, and
Where's
she's really
that
nice.
from? Is that a British brand, Jacob? Do you know?
I don't actually know, to be honest. I'm not
I'll
entirely
look it
sure,
up.
but we
We'll
bought
look it
it.
up.
Yeah, it's just very nice. Really nice,
Tacobo.
really nice texture. Yeah, Tocobo.
Hmm.
Just really, yeah, really high quality kind of
Mm.
moisturizer. Leaves you feeling kind of refreshed, you know.
Mm.
Um,
And what about? Do you have certain things that you do with your hair and beard and all that stuff?
yeah, I mean, occasionally I keep my beard kind of just stubbly.
Mm.
Um, occasionally I use a beard oil when I'm feeling
Mm.
it's a bit longer.
Do you use
Um,
clippers on the beard then, just to keep it down?
I use a sort of electric razor type thing.
Mm.
I used to wet shave when I was younger, but it
Who can be bothered?
I can be bothered, you know. Exactly.
It
And
used
no
to
one's
make
really
me too red
yeah,
as well. Yeah, just get the marks and
yeah,
nicks and things. Yeah.
yeah. I could.
Plus,
I
for
just
me, it was covering chins, which was useful. So
that's the thing as
keep a
well.
bit more beard.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of hair, I use a few different. I'm probably a bit more vain with my hair, to be honest. Nowadays,
Are
I
you?
used to be very kind of lax with it, but yeah, in the past couple of years, I've become a bit more kind of getting slightly nicer haircuts, which I was always loath to do before.
Good.
Um,
Do you
and
like? Are you loyal to a place? Where'd you go and get your haircut?
I go to George Northwood in Shoreditch. Very nice.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah, really good. But yeah, a bit more expensive than I used to go to. But I felt like
You're
I
worth
think
it. You're worth
yeah,
it, Jacob.
yeah, you've got to look after yourself sometimes. You know.
You have. And
Um,
what do you put in your hair?
I use when I get out of the shower, I use kind of a leave-in conditioner and salt
Mm.
spray
Yep.
by Ouai. Do you know them?
Yes.
OUAI.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really nice. They're
Mm.
really good quality. And then I use a kind of pomade. My hair's very like thick and a bit crazy,
Mm.
so I use stuff to kind of keep it
Just kind
from.
of tame it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
And what about your relationship with fragrance? Do you have to sort of not wear fragrance when you're evaluating, or do
yeah,
you stay loyal to Nosu, presumably?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, if I'm ever going out to work and wearing a scent, I'll always wear Nosu, you know. But
Mm.
and yeah, like you said, you must hear it a lot. But I don't really wear scented things when I'm during the day when I'm just working on scents. You know, it kind of doesn't really work out. But I do, before bed, I'll occasionally put some sort of nice smelling body cream on or something like that to kind of,
Mm.
yeah, it's kind of a nice thing to go to bed to a nice smell, you know. And then
Yeah, I
when
agree.
you're awake by the morning, it's quite a nice thing to, you know,
Yeah,
just to go to sleep to.
love that. Love that.
Yeah,
So we talked a bit about um, the artistic side of Nosu.
yeah.
It's obviously, it goes hand in hand with the fragrance side. I mean, what do you think this sort of multidisciplinary approach brings to the brand?
Hmm. I mean, I think it's uh, hopefully quite engaging. That's what we kind of wanted to
Yeah,
go for.
yeah.
The lid especially was Lucy always had a, yeah, I don't know if I've said this already. She always had a kind of idea of it being chrome, super reflective to kind of highlight the fact that the sort of wearer would have on the perfume as well, so you
Yeah,
can, you know, see yourself in
yeah.
inverted speech, you know, comments. But
And she's created artwork for each fragrance, hasn't
yes,
she, as
yeah,
well?
yeah. So she does, like I said, she's a texture artist for cosmetic shoots,
Mm,
and used to study art and things like that. So she'll make these kind of using different kind of ways of creating these images. She will make things that are sort of inspired by the scent.
mm.
Um, yeah, just really beautiful textural images that have the kind of feel of the actual perfume as well.
But it makes a lot of sense to me, and been lucky enough to talk to lots of brand founders and perfumers, and it's so common for all of them to have other interests in other, well, quite common to have interest in other art forms, because people are sensory and interested in the world around them, and I think we
Yeah,
all, that's how we don't experience things just via one sense, do we? It's sort of,
yeah,
often
exactly.
seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling at the same time. So yeah, I love it when there's sort of cross pollination between, whether it's, art, music, fragrance, food, all these things, and because I suppose often us fragrance lovers are quite sensory people in the
Yeah,
first place, aren't we? So I imagine people have responded really well to the sort of dual art and fragrance side of this.
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we wanted to kind of make this kind of sensorial experience across different ways, and you know, kind of world building with the stories behind the scents and kind
Mm,
of snippets of kind of you know, moments and memories and kind of things that people might be able to relate to or imagine, you know, things like that.
yeah,
That's what we were going for.
and that's taken on a real world example at the moment, hasn't it? Because you're exhibiting at the passengers exhibition at
Yeah,
the Parallel Gallery in London. So you tell me a bit about that.
yeah. So I started talking to a curator, Leo Babsky's amazing, really encouraging and helpful, and they were launching this gallery last week actually, and
Right.
they kind of wanted a scent for the space as well to sort of highlight the work and highlight the sort of inspiration for the exhibition, basically. So yeah, it was based around kind of the architecture of the sort of historic building it's in, and sort of archways and sort of different mediums of different things, basically. But
Yeah.
he wanted it to smell like sort of concrete and clay and have that
Right.
sort of thing. So yeah, I made something which, yeah, it's kind of minerally, kind of concrete clay with a sort of white emulsion sort of feel for the, you know, white gallery
To the
space.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
And
kind of.
how do visitors experience the fragrance if they come along,
So it's
or
in
do
a.
they?
They do,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes out through a diffuser, like an atomizer, which sort of sprays it into the room every
Right.
15
Right.
minutes. It's not too overpowering. Didn't want something to sort of overpower the art, but it's kind of been quite fun making something that's kind of
Yeah.
a supporting role in a gallery. You know.
I love it. And if people enjoy it once they've got to the end, is there can people buy it,
Yeah,
or is it just
yeah, yeah.
happen to be in the space?
We're also selling it as a kind of limited edition, just at the gallery, whilst it's on limited edition, sort of 50 ml room spray. Not a perfume. It's a
Right.
room
Oh, I
spray.
see. Yeah.
Yeah,
Got you. Yeah. Yeah.
have to say that, you know,
Yeah. Don't
legally.
put it on your body.
Don't put it on your body. So yeah, we have it as a, and it, you know, if I say so myself, smells great, you know. But yeah, it's
That's
only
really cool.
available currently at the gallery until the end of the month now.
And we talked about your approach to perfumery anyway, and coming from this self-taught route, but
Yeah.
I noticed on the website and in some of the literature, you do have this quite refreshing, quite open-handed approach to talking about materials and actual percentages of naturals that are in there. And why is that, or is it important to you to be that transparent?
Yeah, I think naturals make a kind of a big portion of the
Mm,
perfume. Not the full amount. I think naturals and synthetics together are kind of the best
of
combination.
course. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you often see this kind of very vague kind of marketing that you get with different perfumes, where it says smells like this, and maybe it has 0.2% of that in a perfume. So
Yeah.
I wanted to be a bit more, yeah, like sort of transparent about
Yeah.
what you put in there. It's
I
interesting.
really
You
like
can't
that.
always, yeah, you can't always say it has these different 20 materials in the sort of notes as well. So it's just an extra. If people are curious, they can see what sort of things are making this smell
Mm,
like, you know. I don't know if it's a good idea yet or not, whether people are just going to steal the ideas, but I kind of like the option that people can actually read about.
yeah.
I think it's,
Yeah.
yeah,
I suppose it's one of those things, isn't it? If that's not how you engage with fragrance and it doesn't matter to you, then it's no great it's no great loss. Like it's just there, like you would have a list of ingredients on a chocolate bar or something. But I think for people that are more perfume savvy or interested in what goes into it, then I think it's really useful. But I think more than anything, it just shows that you're open and transparent and willing to talk about what's actually
yeah,
in the juice, which, as you say, for is not always the case, shall we
yeah.
say? Is
And I
it?
think,
And
yeah, and we use kind of quite unusual things. So I do want to be like, this is what's in
yeah,
this.
this is what's in there.
Yeah, you don't often see kind of mango leaf in a perfume. It's kind of
No,
quite rare material, or yeah, other things like elderflower CO2 or bran absolute things like that. You don't often see that, so it's good to. I think it's good
yeah,
to talk about it. And yeah, like I said, with seasonality, it's kind of the perfumes might change very slightly on batch to batch, year to year, and
yeah.
that's fine. That's how
That's
things work.
how that's what you get with
Yeah,
those kind of ingredients, isn't it?
yeah. But we
I
will
had
obviously, we are going to make them sort of as close as possible, but there will
yeah,
be colour and
yeah, yeah,
things like that. So yeah, it's exciting to see what it'll smell like next year as well.
yeah. I talked to I know you know him, but Nick Gilbert from Eau de Bougie
Yeah,
couple of seasons ago. He's very knowledgeable, has been on the shop floor and everything, and we
yeah,
talked about this this misconception sometimes that when you look at when people talk about notes that are in fragrances, it's not, it's sometimes just can be just a sort of
yeah,
marketing idea or a sort of flavor of what you're going to get, but it's certainly not comprehensive and
yeah,
exhaustive,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
sometimes it kind of misdirects you
yeah.
slightly. So we should always think of it, it's not a complete recipe book of what's in that
It's,
fragrance, and sometimes it's just sort of broader ideas, and some brands, thinking of someone like DS and Durga, we'll have some fun with that and put some weird things, just to
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
give you a flavor of what it might be, just as an unusual word.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I like this approach of
No,
being
thank you.
being quite open about what's with you, of what's actually in there, and what percentage of naturals and
Yeah.
everything else.
No, I think there's some of our notes are just like the vibe of the perfume, if you will.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
necessarily exactly what's in it, because who wants to read 45 different
No,
ingredients?
and for me included, for most people,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything anyway, does it?
Yeah,
Well, I'm not a
exactly.
chemist. I don't, I want to smell something that I like the smell of. It's kind of
Yeah.
beginning, and I mean, I'm interested in raw materials and notes, but only to an extent, so I can
Yeah.
understand. I don't need to sort of start getting my pipette out or anything. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I actually am one of those people who looks at the back of, especially with drinks, I always look at the back of the label and
of
things like
course,
that.
professional interest,
Yeah, what's that? And then yeah, you can
and I
figure it out.
bet that can be quite scary, can't it? If you actually know what's in some of these
Yeah, big
things.
time, big time. I mean, I often say this to people that when I used to work in, and one of the acids that we used to clean our floors in the factory was one of the main ingredients in a very
No.
well made cola drink. Yeah, but you can use it in different amounts, but it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good
yeah.
cleaning floors. But it's also a really nice acidity to things. So it's kind of
Yeah.
it's one of things. If it's just a dosing of things, isn't it?
Of course, of course.
But
So
yeah,
we talked about Nosu being is a young brand, and it's been a fantastic first year with this trio of fragrances. And so, what might 2026 look like? Is it a case of sort of consolidating where you are and trying to build in some retailers, maybe, or will there be new? Do you think there'll be new fragrances in the pipeline?
yeah, no, definitely. We've just been focusing on the three we've got at the
Mm,
moment. And because we've spent a long time making them and really happy with them, but I'm definitely
mm,
developing a few more for next year. But for the first sort of year, we just wanted to focus on what we've made so far, and
yeah,
yeah, we're trying to get into more kind of retail places in the UK. We're currently only in the UK, so we're trying to sort of expand into different shops in the UK, and then sort of expand into Europe and America
mm,
and further afield after that. But yeah, kind of like I said, we're still small, so there's a lot of costs involved in kind of expanding into
yeah.
different places. So yeah, it's kind of as we can do it, we're gonna expand, but not take it too quickly. Hopefully,
No, I like what you said about sort of going slow and steady. But of course, it's even just the sort of manpower thing, isn't it? There's
yeah,
two of you. I assume there's just the two of you, and
yeah,
then so you've got to market and create and fulfill the stuff that's there, but then look to the future to retailers and next products and yeah, it's all takes time, doesn't it?
yeah, no,
And
definitely.
do other work to bring money in and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's kind of a balancing act, isn't it? But yeah, it's just two of us. So yeah, in terms of marketing budget, we don't really have anything. We're just kind of doing
Mm,
everything ourselves as we can. Um, just put a lot of things out on social media. That's what we're kind of doing, and trying
yeah,
to send things to people and get feedback and kind of yeah. But yeah, we get asked a lot when we're releasing our next perfume, and it is coming, but
yeah. And
it's
I think
taking
it almost becomes a bit of a reflex, doesn't it, from us journalists or whatever, and we get into this mindset of, oh, every 6 months there must be
yeah
another one, and that's probably fine if you're a massive fragrance house. But
yeah
yeah, there's all the things we've talked about, the costs of doing so, and the human cost and the time and everything else. And yeah, it's not easy. And I suppose, will there be some independent perfumeries that you're going to try and target and get
yeah
some
yeah definitely. We're in a couple
into some
in
doors there?
Yeah, we're in a couple in the UK now.
Are you
We're in Perfume and Dance in Richmond. We're
in
in
Richmond? Great. I still
yeah.
need to go down there. I haven't been down yet.
Oh, it's lovely. Yeah,
Is
Derry is
it?
really yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And Richmond is just a lovely part of London as well. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, we're in Ruia White down in Dulwich.
Yes. Oh, that's near me. Yes.
Yeah, no, really nice down there. Um, and we're about to be in Scented up in Glasgow,
Great.
which is going to be and we're in a few different places. We're talking to a few different places, so fingers crossed
Yeah.
we'll get
And
get going.
and you are going to be at the pop up perfumery, aren't you? Which is 13th to 16th of November
Yeah,
with my pals Nick and Pia from Eau de Bougie. I think there's some
exactly.
other brands there. I've written this down. There's Saint Celier, Soul Notes, yourself, and Eau de Bougie. So what's this? What's the story of this? Are you just taking over a space?
Yeah, we're just. I mean, it was kind of spearheaded initially. I think Pierre and Nick had an idea of just doing a
Mm.
sort of pop-up shop
It's
for.
great. It's one of those, like, of course, why not? It's a brilliant
Yeah,
idea.
no, we'd kind of toyed with Lucy and I and some other people had kind of spoken about doing something similar for a while, but Pierre and Nick were actually like, "Let's do it."
Let's do
They
make it happen.
yeah, and they sort of put a sort of question out if anyone else wanted to do it, and we were like, "Yeah." So it's kind of going to be a bit kind of yeah, it's very small to start with, but hopefully be kind of grow into this kind of larger thing next year. But yeah, just kind of doing a sort of tester at the moment in this kind of small space in Marylebone. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be great. It's going to be fun to get to meet people who come down and
Yeah.
try things. Yeah, no, it's going to
Well,
be
it's
fun.
perfect, isn't it? Because you'll get hopefully get the footfall anyway. It's obviously
Yeah,
Christmas season, but everyone will benefit from
exactly.
perfume lovers and people being interested in the various brands, and that cross
Yeah,
fertilization. It'd be lovely.
and having different brands together is
Yeah.
quite unusual experience as well. Small
Yeah.
brands don't necessarily have big shop, they're not in Liberty and things like that. So it's quite fun to be able to smell things that are interesting and kind of independent and together in one
Yeah.
space.
Well, I think it points to that
Yeah,
collaborative, collegiate approach from quite a lot of people in the niche and indie space. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly,
let's sort of raise each other up together and work
exactly.
together, because it's tough, isn't it? And, all the costs we've talked about, but
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea. So I'll put in the program notes, and social media, I shall put links to that, and I'll hopefully come and see you, because there's the first night there's a sort of
you're doing
drinksy
it there.
thing. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
so good to see you there. Yeah,
come along
no,
and say hi.
people come
Yeah.
on down.
Yeah. So we'll put more info on that, and also this is going to be a busy November for you, because at the end of November you're going to Polaris in Stockholm.
Yeah, yeah, our first perfume expo, and it's going to be over
There you
in
go.
Stockholm. So it's exciting. Yeah, we were
I
invited.
haven't been. I think that'd be a good one.
Yeah, no, it's quite a fun kind of it's very kind of artistic perfume led, which is kind
Mm,
of so they approached us, which is always flattering, and asked if we wanted to come along.
great.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. Get to meet new customers, being in Europe as well. Kind of
Yeah.
that's the first step to try and get into Europe. So it's going to be a good experience.
Oh, good luck with that. I think, but yeah, I know last year Maya Njai was there,
Yeah,
who I love. I think
yeah.
love her perfumes, and spoken
I
to
think
her before.
she's there again this year
Oh,
as well.
good,
But
good.
yeah, this is I think maybe the first time it's been a winter one. So they do a
Yeah.
summer one. They just started doing a winter one, I think. So yes, 6 monthly kind of thing. It's quite a good.
Oh, fantastic. And
Yeah,
how great, like you say, to get the opportunity in mainland Europe to get people to have a little smell, and there'll be opportunities that'll come from it, I'm sure.
yeah. Hopefully so.
So, Jacob, the name of the podcast is Man in the Mirror. So I wonder, the big question of, what do you think about when you're getting ready, maybe in the morning, or clean your teeth at night, when you look in the mirror, what's your view of the guy that looks back at you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly accepting and happy with how I look right
Good.
now. Yeah, it's easy to notice things when you're getting a bit older. When I first started getting a few more wrinkles on my face, a few frown lines,
Yeah.
a few laughter lines. That's fine. That's part of it, isn't it? I think it's okay.
And are you someone that are you into, going to the gym or taking care of yourself? What do you do in that regard, if anything?
Yeah. No, I go to the gym not as regularly as I should, but yeah, I like
Mm.
to. I, I I go on runs with the dog in the morning
Do you?
sometimes. Yeah, and go to the gym when I can, a couple of
Is the
times a
dog
week.
happy about it?
Oh yeah, he's a lurcher, so he likes to
Oh,
run.
he loves
Yeah,
it.
yeah. He gets a run and he gets a ball afterwards, so he loves it.
Perfect. What a good start to the day.
It's a very nice way to start the day. Yeah,
Yeah.
bit of exercise.
And do you think being in, I guess, different now, perhaps from the sort of flavor side into fragrance and the links with beauty in that world, do you have a sense ever that now you're in that space, is it made you more conscious of how you look or how you present yourself, perhaps, or not really?
I think so. I think in terms, I was always very background in my previous roles.
Mm.
So, and yeah, like you said, with it being a sort of part of the beauty world, you do have to present slightly more glam, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, it's been quite. I think, like I said earlier, it kind of pushed me to get that nicer haircut that I'd never get.
Justify the 40 quid haircut or whatever.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, no, it's been quite a. I think it's been a positive thing. It's good to
Mm.
look after yourself, isn't it?
No, you're absolutely right, and I recognize it as well. I think, yeah, I never had a job that required me to sort of do anything in front of the camera or
Yeah,
photos and stuff. And this even, being a little bit older, you can understand the pressure that people feel, because suddenly I'm just looking at more images of myself or more
yeah.
bits of video and stuff, and it's, yeah, you can't help but
But analyze
react
yourself.
either, yeah, analyze yourself, number one, but yeah, react either way of, oh god, I need to do something about this, or just get a
Yeah,
bit self-conscious. But
no, definitely. No, I think
yeah.
yes, you being on film as well. But
Mm,
still photos you can kind of accept, but watching yourself back is always a kind of weird thing.
mm.
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast the other day with Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine. She was on with sidetracked, I think, with Nick Grimshaw, and
Mm.
I think she'd been away. She was just, it was the preamble, and she's saying, she'd not been promoting for 5 or 6 years, and how the media landscapes has changed in that time. And she was quite open about this conversation she'd had with her manager, where her manager said, "Look, you're going back to do all this stuff now, and just know that all these interviews now are basically podcasts, and they're all filmed." And she said, I was used to doing photo shoots, and I was used to doing videos and shows and everything, but I didn't always like being filmed. And what used to be a sort of 10 minute on a kid's Saturday morning show or Top of the Pops, whatever it is, now you're being filmed for an hour, have like we are
Yeah,
having these conversations, which for anybody, and I suppose you might argue that artists get a bit more used to it and should be used to it, but for anybody, it is different now, isn't it? We film everything.
exactly. And you see
So,
people more candidly, less kind of
yeah,
controlled, kind of a photo shoot. You get kind of positioned to
yeah,
look
and
good.
approvals and all of that stuff, and
Yeah,
touch ups and everything. But
definitely.
yeah, it's sort of it's funny, isn't it? Now, yeah, everything's kind of filmed and podcasted. So even from multi platinum huge artists, she's going, "Oh, I don't really like being filmed all
Yeah.
being filmed all the time." Finally, Jacob, what are the things that you do to bring yourself happiness and joy, perhaps outside of the workplace? What does leisure time look like?
I think I've mentioned it before. Walking the dog is quite a
Yeah,
nice way to kind of start the day. I mean, I think when we got our dog back in 2020, so
lockdown dog.
had a lot of exactly had a lot of time to just walk around. And I remember
Yeah,
just walking in the woods early morning, sort of light coming through the trees. Very nice, peaceful way to do it. I remember I started kind of literally stopping to smell the roses more. When you'd actually walk past
yeah,
people's
you
gardens.
actually do it. Yeah.
Yeah, very cheesy
That-
to say, but yeah, you'd stop and kind of any roses or flowers kind of hanging over different
yeah.
people's walls and
If
things.
only there was a film crew there, just capturing that would have been
Yeah,
fun.
exactly.
And have you
Um,
got good open spaces and nice woods and stuff near you for that stuff?
we live in Tottenham now. We used to live near Highgate Woods, which was an absolute
Mm,
dream. But so we still go there occasionally. But now we just walk around the kind of the marshes are quite nice. Tottenham
yeah,
marshes are quite nice.
yeah.
Yes, that's quite a nice way of spending your time. But also, just I kind of spend a lot of time cooking when I've
Do
got
you?
free time. There's nothing better than kind of spending hours cooking a meal. I think.
Are you? Would you say you're a good cook? Are you into it?
I think I'm quite a good cook. Yeah, I
Do
think I'm
you?
pretty. I think when I've got the time, I think I'm a pretty good cook.
But that makes sense too, doesn't it? With obviously with flavors and tastes and
Yeah,
smells, I'm not surprised at all.
yeah. But no, it's the kind of.
And does that help you relax and switch off? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like if I can spend a few hours just making a meal, it's quite
Mm.
nice. That's a good way to
And
go.
if suddenly someone was coming round in an hour,
Mm.
like at Monday lunch,
Yeah.
and you had to do, a good dish, what would be your signature?
Oh, I don't know. That's quite a difficult thing.
Ingredients, no object. I could suddenly get, Ocado round and sort you out. What would you
Yeah,
do?
I think I quite like making kind of trendy small plates for everyone to kind of
Nice.
dip things in. I love doing kind of burrata and figs kind
Oh
of
yeah,
thing, and like little salads, kind of herby beanie salads and things like that.
love it.
Yeah, that
Picky,
sort of
picky bit, small plates.
gets exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And with being married to your co-founder in Nosu,
Yeah.
do you find you're able to switch off the work? I know it never sounds as simple as that, I'm sure, but are you quite disciplined about saying, "Do you know what, we're not going to, I don't know, not going to talk about it because it's Sunday, or we're going to stop talking about it because it's 8 o'clock"? Is that possible? I don't even know. Is it possible?
Yeah, it's quite hard. It's
I
quite
bet
hard.
it is.
Yeah, it's quite difficult, but we're better at it than we were when we first started it. It became very, especially when we first launched. I was just constantly on my phone on social media talking to
And
people.
quite intense. Yeah, and you can't get
Yeah,
any time out of it.
yeah. But no, we're quite good at it now. I mean, we've kind of, like I said, we kind of separated our roles a bit more. So
Mm,
I'm just doing that side, she's doing this side. So for the past few weeks, like you said, we've been quite busy arranging things for
yeah, yeah.
exhibition and Polaris coming up and the pop up perfumery. But So yeah, like on the weekends, we often just we might do a little bit, but then we'll just stop and kind of
And yeah,
relax,
that's
you
enough
know?
of that.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Totally. Yeah, well, you do for the sake of mental
yeah,
health and a good
exactly.
marriage and everything else. And
It can be a challenge to sort of
yeah,
constantly talk about something, you know.
Jacob, thank you so much. It's been a real joy to speak to you. I've loved hearing about the journey and experiencing the fragrances this year. And it sounds like there's some really exciting things coming up, not least Polaris and the pop-up perfumery, which I shall put links to. Thank you so much for your time. Wishing you all the success with the rest of the year and into next year. And hopefully see you in a week or two at the
Yeah,
pop-up perfumery.
looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Hayden. It's been a
Thanks,
pleasure.
Jacob. Take care.
You too.